Hi everybody. I need to make sure that I have live chat on as opposed to talk chat. How do I do that? Is that it? Give me a second here. Throw some emojis in the chat if you can. Throw some emojis in the chat if you can hear me and see me okay. I feel like I should tilt this a little bit too. It's making it look extra double chinly today. So if you tilt it, it looks a little less double chinly. Sweet. I'm seeing emojis from all my boys, my dudes, my girls, my non-binaries, all my peeps. Hi everybody. So this is a very real situation here. I'm in my bedroom. I have a kitty asleep right here next to me. I have a kitty asleep right there in the tree. I am not wearing makeup. I did shower. I'm clean, but I put on fresh pajamas. So I'm wearing pajama pants and my good old Napa Marching Band sweatshirt. I have a bowl of leftover mashed potatoes, which is my breakfast slash lunch. I have my water right here, and I'm snuggling this pillow because this is a nice snuggly pillow. This throw pillow makes a great snuggle pillow. And we're going to talk about some books and just general stuff. But, you know, that is a lot of potatoes. I'm probably not going to finish them. I'm just sort of grazing on them. Hi, everyone. So that's what's going to happen today. And the reason I'm doing this is because I was going to sit down and film a planner video. I need to do my bullet journal setup for next month. I need to do my planner for this next week. I need to look at my power sheets for April. And to be perfectly honest with you, I did not want any of that business today. Just let's be perfectly honest with you. I did not want to deal with it. And it's not because we don't have stuff going on this week. We do have stuff going on this week, sort of, like as best as we can, but I just wasn't feeling it. And I didn't want to do a video just for the sake of filming one for YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, that's not how I live my planner life. I don't plan for YouTube. I plan for my life and then I show it on YouTube. So I just was like, fuck that. I want to talk, but I didn't know what I wanted to. Yeah, it has been overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like, social distancing is going fine. Social distancing is fine for us. I mean, aside from the fact that we're all losing it, cooped in, but like Jesse and I are both privileged enough to be able to work. I already work from home. Jesse is able to work from home. It actually seems like he's working more now that he's working from home. I don't even know. Kat and RJ are, like, our school district has been doing a version of online school. So they've been both doing school stuff and then they have a Discord with their friends. So yeah. So we're doing fine. Anyway, so I want to talk about books. I'm not a booktuber. I do watch a little booktube, and the booktube that I watch is adjacent to the fantasy community because the booktube I've been watching has been because of the Wheel of Time TV show coming out eventually because they had to stop production on it. And so the booktubers that I have found have been through watching Wheel of Time videos. So I'm not like super plugged into the greater booktube community, like the bigger booktube community, and I would never consider myself a booktuber. Check in how you guys are doing. Good luck with that, Debbie. Good luck with that for all of you guys. Oh, well, I'm so glad to have you guys here. Yeah, Jess, I know that feeling about kind of feeling. There's certain, the only reason my life doesn't feel normal is because everybody else is here. Ooh, you're an author too, booktuber. Good times. Well, it's good to see you here. Okay, so my legs are super itchy and I don't know why. Okay, so Anyway, but I thought I would talk about reading because that is something that is helping me decompress. The reason reading is helping me decompress is because I have always turned to books when I've always turned to books when I am stressed out. I didn't have a lot of close friendships when I was growing up, and books were kind of like the kid in the fucking never-ending story when he's like, well, I've got all these books, the books are like my best friends. Like, that was me. Like, I was that books for me. So in this time when everything is super stressful for me, for all of us, books are something that I can return to and have them be an escape. Do you know what I mean? Now, I'm a rereader. I love to reread. So when I'm looking to escape, I generally don't read books that are new to me. I read books I've read before. That's why if people look at all my books back here and they're like, oh, all those books, let me just tell you that, like, I would suggest that 2 of the 3 big bookshelves behind me are my books, and the rest are Jesse's books and some miscellaneous, like, things we've picked up over the years. But my books, I've read almost all of them, and I've read almost all of them multiple times. So what I'm trying to do is balance the books I've read before with new books, because that's been my goal this year, to read more new books that are new to me. With my Goodreads challenge of 100 books for the year, it was going to all be books that are new to me, not books I've read before. But then with everything that's going on, my first thought was to return to some books I've read before, because those are my comfort books. Hardcore. Yeah, I'm kind of glancing at the comments right now. Polis, do you ever try audiobooks? Does that help with your dyslexia? I have no idea, so I'm just asking. My favorite book genre, that's probably fantasy. However, I tend to gravitate less towards genre and more towards authors. If I find an author I like, I will read everything I can get my hands on from that author. Like, for horror novels, as an example, I love Stephen King. Stephen King's one of my favorite authors. In my book collection behind me, 2 of those shelves are all Stephen King. But I don't read a lot of other horror. Like, I've tried Dean Koontz. I'm not a big fan of Dean Koontz. Like, I kind of will potentially find other horror novels that I like, but Stephen King tends to be the author I tend to go to. Fantasy is probably the number. I have read multiple series, different authors under the fantasy kind of situation. But again, it's authors more so than genres for me. How do I not have nightmares after reading Stephen King? My dude, I have been reading Stephen King since I was like 8. My first Stephen King book was Pet Sematary, and I was 8. My mom didn't know I had found it at a garage sale, and I read it, and it scared me so bad that I hid it under my bed. But I love it. I mean, it's a really depressing book, but it's a great book. Okay, comments. Looking at comments here. So, anyway, the series that I'm rereading right now is The Wheel of Time. I'm currently on The Shadow Rising, which is book 4, and my husband is reading book 1, and then Kat, who has read 1 and 2, is also going to read it with us because we're all excited about the show. So I'm reading it, and I'm trying to be real hard about not spoiling it. I'm not good at that. Let's see here. Have I read The Outsider? I have not. I'm actually not very well. God, do I have tissues back here? I'm like wiping my runny nose with my sweatshirt, which is gross, and I know I shouldn't be doing that, but I don't have any tissues back here. Do I? Wait, hold on. Let's see. You might see my butt crack. Don't look at my butt crack. Oh, I do have tissues. Woohoo! Okay. Told you I'm in pajamas. I'm trying not to step on a sleeping Loki. Let's see here. Have I read Harry Potter? Yes. Harry Potter is, I have definitely read Harry Potter. The Dresden Files, I have not read those. RJ has read some of those, and they're on my list of something to try. Anyway, so Wheel of Time's what I'm currently rereading. And I have a couple of books that I've seen recommended by a booktuber named Murphy Napier. One of them is The Lies of Locke Lamora. I have that one. And then I also have Brandon Sanderson's The Way of Kings. I know I've been needing to read Brandon Sanderson for a while. He's the one who wrapped up The Wheel of Time after Robert Jordan died. So, but I haven't been ready to commit to that yet. So, rereading The Wheel of Time has been kind of my situation here. The series is unfinished. Good to know. Thank you, because that I get traumatized with unfinished series. Have I read The Witcher? No, my husband has. I might get more super chats to see my butt crack. Yeah, Maggie. Woohoo! Which Stephen King books are good for teens? I guess it depends on the kind of teen you have. I love The Eyes of the Dragon as a fantasy novel is good times. My personal favorite starter Stephen King book, especially for people who aren't super into like supernatural fantasy, is probably Misery. Misery is phenomenal. So good. So good. My favorite Stephen King book is It. My favorite book of all time is It. I have not read The Outsider yet. When a book doesn't resonate with you, do you finish or do you think it and move on? I think it and move on. I don't have fucking time for that. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo series. I've read the first one. I don't remember if I read the rest of them or not. I feel like I bought the first one at an airport and read it. And I don't remember if I read the rest. I don't think I read the rest. I might have read the rest. Maybe I read the rest. I don't remember. Yeah, I've heard Joe Abercrombie is amazing for like grim dark fantasy, and as I love A Song of Ice and Fire, that's something I want to look into. So, yeah, I love The Stand too. By the way, for those of you who have read Stephen King and have read The Stand, if you haven't been paying attention to The Stand, the new TV show they're working on for The Stand, Alexander Skarsgård is playing Randall Flagg, and he's hot. So it's just my reaction whenever I think of Alexander Skarsgård. I have not read those. I have to go back through these comments and pick up all of the recommendations. Do I like the occasional YA cheesy romance? Okay, here's a situation. Here's the thing to talk about. So I'm in the Llama Library group, which is the book group, like the book planner offshoot group. It's run by Madi Munda and Julia Miller. And a lot of people in there have some particular hard odds about Colleen Hoover. And I had never read any of that shit. And I know it's not young adult. I know it's like romance of some sort. I had not read any of that. So I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. What was it that I read? I even bought the book because my library didn't have any. So I bought it. What is it? It's Ugly Love. I read that and my first thought was, okay, I don't think I am going to read any more books by this author. It was not for me. I finished it because I was like, what am I reading? But to put this a different way, if you've read Ugly Love by Colleen Hoover and you want to recommend Colleen Hoover books to me, just know I read that book. And it was not for me. I finished it, but that was as far as I was willing to go with it. Yeah, not my thing. I'm not hating on anybody else who reads it. I'm just saying, not my thing. So, I am not watching Castle Rock, but I love, oh God, what is her name? It's Janice Ian from Mean Girls. What is her? Lizzie Kaplan. I love her as an actress, and I want to see her play Annie Wilkes super bad. So, I do need to watch that. Yeah, and then what was the other book series I tried to read and couldn't read? Another one that everybody and their mother in that book group loves. What in the shit is that series? It's got like, it's sexy elves. It's like vampire-y, elvy type sexiness. What the fuck is that series called? Because I tried reading the first book and I couldn't get into it. And everybody seems to like it. And again, not for me. What the hell is that series called? No, not Vampire. Sarah J. Maas. That sounds right. No, I actually like the True Blood series. Uh, Court of Thorn and Roses. That's it. That's the book series that I'm talking about. I tried reading that and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I don't know why. I did read the Twilight series. Fun fact, I read it because I was being a jerk and my friend was loving on it and I was making fun of my friend for reading Twilight. And she was like, you can't make fun of me because you've never read it. And so I read the whole Twilight series so I could make fun of her. What does that say about me? I loved the Sookie Stackhouse books. They got really strange towards the end. I preferred the books to the show, even though the show has Alexander Skarsgård in it and he's super hot. I thought the books were just wackier. Like, the books were just like, the show was interesting and had great actors in it, but the books were just off the wall. Like, yeah, Spite Reader. Have I read Anne Rice? I have read some of the Vampire Diaries. I've read, what have I read? I've read The Vampire, I've read Interview with the Vampire, Vampire Lestat, and Queen of the Damned, question mark? And I'm not a big fan of Anne Rice's writing style. Yeah, but they're beautifully written. It's just not my thing. I tried to read Outlander. I read the first Outlander book, and then I tried to read the second book, and I couldn't get into it. And I've watched the first season of Outlander because the guy who plays Jamie Fraser is super hot. Have you noticed like a theory here, like a theme here? I'll go along with anything if there's a hot guy in it. Am I going to revive book club? That's a great question, Monchel. And yes, sort of. For right now, for the course of our isolation, I am much more of a fan of people reading the books they can get their hands on versus reading the same book altogether. And so in the Discord, there is a book chat. So if you don't know about it, I'll have to link it. I haven't linked it because I didn't do any description for this live stream yet, but I will link the Discord that you all can be a part of. There's a special patron section just for patrons, but anybody can be in the Discord, and there's a chat specifically for talking about the books we're reading. And I think I might wind up, because Discord is free and anybody can use it, and unlike, it's not the same as like other social media, I figure that might be a good way to go ahead with some of that, but I'm not sure yet. So, do I have any non-fantasy favorite authors? What titles would you recommend? Let me think about some of the books that I've read recently that I really like. The Kevin Kwan, I guess, is the guy I think who wrote the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy. Those books are fun. I read all 3 of those books in like a day and a half. I just chewed them up in a good way. Num num num. Do you know what I'm saying? So those 3 books I loved. What else am I looking at from over here? I really enjoy the Alex Cross books by James Patterson. However, I have not read all of the new ones. My James Patterson Alex Cross book reading has been from Along Came a Spider, which is the first one, through Violets Are Blue, which is, if you've read those books, you understand kind of the story arc that gets sort of concluded with Violets Are Blue that kind of covered those books. And that's kind of where I stopped reading them. But those books in and of themselves, great quick reads. And I should also mention, you guys, I'm a speed reader, so I tend to read books really quickly and then reread them to get whatever it is that I missed. If you know what I'm saying. What else? I'm just glancing, looking at all the books that I have. If you like historical fiction, there is a really great trilogy by Juliet Gray. It's a trilogy about Marie Antoinette. The first book is called Becoming Marie Antoinette, and the second one is called Days of Splendor, Days of Sorrow, or something like that, and the third one's called Confessions of Marie Antoinette. And she bases it all in like the historical record, but just like makes up some conversations and stuff. So it's relatively accurate in terms of events, but it's just a really great read where she humanizes Marie Antoinette. Like you read it and you're like, oh my God. So and they're not super long. If you've read the Antonia Fraser biography of Marie Antoinette, you'll recognize a lot of it because I think that's one of the ones she pulls pretty heavily from. But it's not as dense as some historical fiction. It's a little bit lighter on that, but it makes you wish like it ended differently. That's how good it is. So I have not read Donna Tartt. But that's a really good one. I just read a book. Jess, if you're still in the chat, you'll remember who's the guy, Dan something. It's a book about the Plantagenets, and it's not historical fiction. It's like actual biography or whatever, and it was good times. And then I'll add that a couple of books I've recommended before are, they're not fiction, they're historical. Not historical fiction, they're like biography type books by Jeff Gwynne. One of them is about Jonestown, and it's called The Road to Jonestown? Yeah, The Road to Jonestown, about Jim Jones and Jonestown. And the second one is called Go Down Together, and it's about Bonnie and Clyde. And both of those I've recommended before, and they are both just so good. I might enjoy Susanna Kearsley. Okay, I'll have to keep that in. But yeah, so I am currently, when it comes to books that I'm reading, I am reading like I said, I'm reading The Wheel of Time, and this is a reread. In case you can't tell, I've had this copy for many, many years. This has been reread multiple times of The Shadow Rising. I am rereading this, and then I have a handful of books that I haven't read yet that I want to read, but a lot of them are nonfiction, and they're kind of a bunch of like productivity books, and so I'm really not feeling that right now. So I think I might just stick with my reread for right now and then add in other books later. I kind of want to read, speaking of which, there's a video I haven't watched yet, but I'm really excited to, by Tiffany Ferg. She likes to do like internet analysis about things, and she's talking about the obsession with productivity, and I really want to watch that, but I haven't watched it yet, so I'm just letting you guys know I will be watching that. Oh, so much stuff. You just watched it? Good. I'm glad, because I want to watch that, because I have been feeling good. I'm glad you guys were all watching that, because that's something I really want to talk about, like on the podcast, because I've seen a lot of, this is going to veer out of book. This is veering out of book question, like Tiffany Ferg, Tferg. I think it's like Tiffany Ferguson or something, but like her YouTube name is like Tiffany Ferg. She's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. She'll pop up if you look her up. Anyway, that video, I'm curious about it because one of the things I've noticed is that there seems to be, at least on social media, there seems to be kind of two different groups. I know you're not supposed to touch your face, whatever. I'm not going anywhere. Tiffany Ferg, thank you. It's like school of thought of like, well, we're home now and I'm homeschooling my kids, so we need to have this like color coordinated schedule and get all these things done because we're home and productive and blah, blah, blah. And then there's other people who are like, I'm lucky if I put on fresh underwear. And I fall squarely in the second category of people who are feeling good about managing to put on fresh pajamas each day. And like, there's a certain level of stress. Like, okay, one of the things I read, I'm gonna try, and this is not, I have not thought this out. I have just had a bunch of thoughts swirling around in my head, and you guys now, because I randomly decided to go live today, are gonna get kind of this may become a podcast, but right now you guys are just getting kind of the unformed thoughts that have been in my head. All right. So here's the thing. Like, I read on Facebook, because that's where I see everything these days. I read on Facebook that that this there part of what we're feeling is a level of like grief and trauma right now. Not just trauma because of the whole situation that's happening in terms of the greater world and everything else, but also the grief and trauma for what was our normal life and then what our life is now. And now it's like I've said this before, it feels kind of like a tragedy in slow motion. Does that make sense? And I'm saying for people who are getting sick and in the hospital and the people on the front lines and everything, I would imagine it doesn't feel so much in slow motion. I would imagine it feels very much in fast motion. But for those of us who are at home doing our best to social distance and to whether we still have our jobs and are working or whether we are not working anymore, like my sister's husband got laid off, like whatever situation we're in, if we are able to be at home social distancing, however that might look, it can feel like it's not like it feels hard. It's hard to explain. When we had to stay inside when there was the fires in Napa, Napa had the fires a couple years ago where it was like burning down and we had no power for 2 weeks and it was thick ass smoke. And if you walked outside, you got a migraine. We stayed inside for 2 weeks with the kids with no school and everything else because we couldn't leave the house because there was fire and smoke and we had no power. And it felt like a situation. It felt like an emergency or like a disaster or something that's going on. Do you know what I'm saying? And now, like, I look outside and it just looks like a regular day. It feels like a regular day, but at the same time, it feels like there's no such thing as a regular day anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of the thing I'm trying to grapple with, is like this weird, like, dichotomy of like everything. Like, it looks like we're in a normal world, except we're not in a normal world. Kind of like Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of a situation. Surreal. Surreal is a perfect word for it, Stephanie. Surreal. Nothing feels regular, but at the same time, it's wearing like the salad dressing of regular, you know? Like everything is wearing the costumes of regular, but it's not regular. And so there's this underlying like discombobulation that's happening to me right now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's this underlying feeling of like wrong. Aside from everything else, this just like coating of wrongness that's going on right now. And then on top of that, there's all, yeah, and it's the things like that, Jessica, like little things. Like you know what? Sometimes like I stay home and I work and I tend to, what I was joking with my kids with a while ago was that I often would go to Starbucks or to Michael's, not even to buy anything, just to window shop or just to be in there a few seconds to see people because I'm so used to being at home all day and it felt good to go out and see people and I can't do that. Like that, it seems like the silliest thing in the world to miss, but it's true, you know? Twilight Zone, yeah. And so with all that being said, on top, so there's that feeling of wrongness and then there's the feeling of grieving everything that's being missed right now. Do you know? Like the plans that we had that we can't make, that we can't, you know, whether you were going somewhere like Go Wild or you were going on a trip or you were going to be, or like the kid's older sister at dad's house, she's a senior in high school and is not, and like they rescheduled prom to May 30th, but I highly doubt that's even happening. Do you know what I mean? Like all of these things, pieces of our lives that we can't get back because they would have happened right now and they're not. And then with all of that, then there's all of the worry that comes from, are you going to get sick? What's that going to look like for you? And then for those of us who are chronically ill or who have other illnesses, for me, I talked to my patrons a little bit about this and I mentioned it on Instagram as well. I read some articles that really fucked me up. Like I read an article about how this guy was supposed to get a liver transplant and he was like only had like a 30 or 40 days to live and he was supposed to get a liver transplant and his uncle finally got through the process to test as a living donor, and then the hospital told him that because living donor surgeries are elective, they weren't going to do that, but he's going to die without the liver, but they're not going to do the surgery. And so I was like, oh, balls. And then I'm reading that most transplant centers are putting like they're really dialing it back, because not only are living donor surgeries elective, but also in order to get organs from people who are organ donors, you have to keep them on a ventilator for a while after they've gone brain dead, so that they can get the organs before they're legally dead. I remember this from when my dad died. And so there's going to be a shortage of organs for for people who need organ donations because of the lack of ventilators. And I'm not at all begrudging the need for ventilators, but I was like, oh, fuck. And then like I have to go in to get my fistula operated on, but my doctor is thinking like it still needs more work. I can't use it yet, but my surgeon thinks that that might be considered elective. So she's not sure if that's going to happen or not, which means that if I have to go on dialysis at some point during the time this is all going on, I'm going to have to go into the hospital anyway. I'm not saying all this for you guys to feel sorry for me. What I'm saying is that that's one person with one kind of chronic illness, and how the repercussions of this whole thing could affect me. And there are so many other people with so many other kinds of chronic illnesses and other situations that they're in, where there's like, it's not just the people who get sick from the virus, it's also all of these other people who need those resources as well, who aren't going to. And so it's a lot. It's a lot. And so I was like, God, I shouldn't have read. I need to stop reading articles because these are all stressing me out. But do you see what I'm saying? Like it just adds to the overall level of anxiety and stress. And so with all, whoops. And then of course, there's both of my kids and them dealing with their own fears, their own things that they're struggling with. My husband with work and everything else. And so with all four of us like that here in this house, feeding off of each other, I see people online. This goes back to my original point. I see people online posting about how, perfect homeschooling, or look at us, we're doing all of these lessons, and then we're going to make cookies and make a lesson out of it. And I'm looking at all these people and I'm like, what in the shit drugs are you on? What drugs are you on that keep you that mellow that you could do that and not be stressed the fuck out? Like, what are you smoking? Because I know that the medical marijuana dispensaries are still open in California, and no amount of medical marijuana would make me feel that suave right now. I'm just saying, like, so, like, so I'm not, so when people talk about, like, being all like getting all these things done, and like, here's the thing, like, I also get that for parents of little kids, they're in a different situation than I'm in. Like, they have to be more active with any kind of homeschooling or any kind of like online learning their kids are getting, any kind of, and this does not even touch on the questions of privilege when it comes to people being able to utilize online learning. I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about with parents with younger K-3 kids who really need to be involved in helping them with their reading or whatever. Like, I'm so thankful my kids are teenagers, because I didn't have patience for that when they were in school. And I couldn't teach them shit now with the stuff they're learning. Like, when my 16-year-old is learning in high school, I don't fucking know how to, you need help with that? Email your teacher or your friends, because I don't know how to do that. I don't know French. Do you know? Like, so like, I am so like, it's just, there's so much. And I read an article that did not stress me out, that just made me go like, yes, about how this whole situation is just exposing so many different cracks in society. Right? So many different cracks, whether they're the cracks in the healthcare system, or they're the cracks in the social services networks, like whether it's like food insecurities, or people who have jobs that with no like gig economy workers, or people who like are in domestic violence situations, or like kids who don't have internet at home so they can't do online schooling, like all of these different cracks that are being shown. But one of them is that now the burden, and this is a generalization, but the burden is often put on, if there is a household that has a male and a female in the household as like the adults, and there's kids in the house, that the burden of like the schooling and the home, the dealing, like the dealing with kids is falling on the women, even if the women and the men both have jobs that they have to do from home. Like the lion's share of that work seems to be falling more, and it just is again showing, do you know what I mean? Like there's so many different aspects to this that are being exposed right now. And again, it just adds to that feeling of like, oh God, we as a species are just fucked. And like, you know, and then you see other good things happening, like people taking care of each other, and people coming together in ways digitally or whatever the case may be, and like actually being awesome to each other. And you see all that, and that's super heartwarming. But it's like, oh God, like and the one thing that you can really do, the best thing you can do to help the whole society is to stay the fuck home if you can, which then just adds you into this swirl of, I'm so sorry if you guys were coming here to get like mindless entertainment and I'm just like going off on this, but like I'm just telling you where my head's at right now. And this is why I'm not making a planner video. I've seen some people do it because they want to like do normalcy or whatever, but I'm just going to tell you right now, my life is not normal right now. My life is not normal right now. And my life is not normal right now, and I need to find a way. Like, here's the thing. This might sound like kind of doofy, but like, here's the thing. I want to go into my planner and put a bunch of stickers down and love on it. I want to, because I know that doing that, generally speaking, is like zen for me. Even when I'm yelling at my washi tape, even when I'm frustrated that a sticker goes down crooked, there is something about that hobby that is very, there's something about that hobby that is very peaceful for me. But what I need is to find a way to interact with that hobby that is going to be helpful. Because right now, therapeutic, that's a great word, therapeutic. There's something very therapeutic about that hobby for me. However, the thought of doing it makes me so anxious right now, because so much of using my planners is wrapped up in being productive. Being productive is like the last thing I want to do right now. Like productivity feels like, it just feels like wrong right now. And so I need to find a way to interact with it that's different. And I haven't figured that out yet. Do you know what I mean? Can I paint? I've been trying to. That cherry blossom thing some of my patrons saw me working on, I have been working on that like little bud by little bud for like an entire fucking week. Like, and I just haven't been able to like, I've been watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and attempting to paint, and it's been that's again, I rewatch things as well. I'm a rewatcher. So I'm rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer and trying to paint. And it's also just not, I don't know. I made banana bread. That was nice. So. But yeah. So that's something that I'm thinking about. I'm just letting you guys know where my brain's at right now. Do you know? Yeah. Feeling lost and feeling useless. Debbie and Pam, you guys both kind of. Janet, I think it's just like I'm waiting. Yeah, all of these things. It's like limbo. Like, it feels like limbo. I would love it if somebody, I've said this to some of you, I would love it if somebody just told me, okay, you're going to have to be in isolation for 6 months, or you're going to not be able to do this for X months, and then it'll be done, and it'll be figured out. Like, that's what I want. I just want somebody to tell me. I don't care how long it takes. I don't care how much we have to sacrifice to get there. If you could just give me like a concrete estimation, and I know they can't. I know they can't. I know that's wishful thinking. But if I could just get that, it would make me feel like I had something kind of like figure out. I don't like not knowing. So, who knows, man? And then at the same time, while this is all going on, we have a kitty who, whoops, we have a kitty who's just asleep here, like it's like nothing's even happening. He's just sleeping. He's a kitty who's sleeping. And then up in the tree, in the very top of the tree, I don't know how you guys, can you guys see Lulu up there with his little paw and his little face? I don't know. They're just sleeping, like nothing's happening. Little fucking kitties. I am so jealous of my cats that they are able to just be chill right now. So jealous. I'm also very thankful for having my cats around. I'll tell you, they know that I'm stressed, so they have been coming and sleeping on my lap a whole bunch, and I'm appreciative of that. You know? My cats are great. They sat and they watched The Tiger King. That's another thing I could talk about, Tiger King. We binge watched that entire series yesterday. Just saying. 10 out of 10 worth it. Quality self-isolation entertainment right there. So. Yeah. What is it about, Tiger King? It's about, I can't even explain what it's about. It's about a guy, and it's a lot. Tiger King is, it's a lot. It is the gift that keeps on giving, is what it is. It is a present within a present within a present. It's on Netflix. Anyway, yeah, so like that's where I'm at right now. I'm reading, watching Tiger King, trying to paint, trying to work, trying to make videos. It's funny, I was sitting here like doing that Post-it note live stream was fucking good times. It's one of the best times I have had in a while. So I will do another one next week on Thursday probably. I don't know which one. I'm thinking about doing, I know I'm rubbing my eyes, but I have allergies and my eyes are super itchy. And I will wash my hands when I'm done with all of this. But I haven't seen anybody in forever. Yeah, the Post-it note live was good times. I blew up Pikachu's ass. That's all you need to know. I'm thinking about doing the washi tape manicure or various kinds of manicures. I'm thinking about fucking my nails up, basically. There's a washi tape manicure. There's painting your nails white and then drawing on them with Sharpies. I'm thinking about doing that. Especially if it's with like a hairy-ass Sharpie that I used on people's boobies. Why does my thing keep going this way? I don't have enough room for anything here. Anyway, yeah. So that'll probably be on Thursday. And then on Tuesday, at some point, I am going to do, I have a Power Sheets and a bullet journal video to film. I just don't know what they're going to be like yet. I just need to figure out, you know. What I need to do is go into my Power Sheets, and because it's the springtime setup, really think through my goals and reassess them in the light of what's going on. Because that, I think that might actually, and maybe that's something I should do. I could do that live too, but that would be fucking long. Usually I have about 2 hours of Power Sheets footage to whittle down. What I want to do is look at the goals I set at the beginning of the year and see how I can tweak them to fit them with what's going on in a way that makes sense, like the routines goal or whatever the case may be. So that's something to do. I just have to get motivated. How could you even have goals? I don't know, Lisa. I need something to work towards. Just give me some. I need something. If they're not going to tell me when this is going to be over, I need to give myself a deadline for something. What? I don't know. I don't know what it's a deadline for. Finish my cherry blossom painting in 8 months, because at this pace, that's how long it's going to take. Your mom predicts until June. My indoor garden is looking sexy as fuck. As a matter of fact, before I end this, I'll take you guys and you can see my little my in-kitchen garden and how sexy it is. Like growing tomatoes in my house, that's a goal. And I'm getting there. I'm close. I'm close. Maybe my goal can be to learn how to French braid my hair, my own personal hair. Maybe my goal is to not run out of pajama pants before I do laundry, because I have not made that goal in the last couple of weeks. You know? Anyway, like it's not, I don't want to make goals to be super productive. I want them because I hope what I'm looking for is something to help me feel like I can have something I'm working, like striving towards, that will help me have a little bit more structure to what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I made banana bread yesterday, and that's pretty much what I've been living on. Banana bread with butter. Microwave it in the. I saw a tweet that said that their husband microwaves things for 44 seconds instead of 45 seconds for Obama. And so today when I microwaved my banana bread, I microwaved it for 44 seconds instead of 45 seconds. It's little things, right? Oh, I need to post the monthly doodling and lettering challenge. I actually got that all figured out. The patrons already have it. Yeah. Okay, I think this will be a second. What we're going to do is we're going to take you into the kitchen and you can see my indoor garden. Don't judge any mess in my kitchen because that would be rude. Okay, I'm going to unplug this. I'm going to unscrew this. Okay, here we go. We're going to walk. Now, first we're going to check in on the Loki man, who's right here next to me on the bed, sleeping like a little doodle bug. Look at this Loki man. Isn't he adorable? He's my little Loki, and he's a sleepy boy. We think he's lost some weight, not in a bad way, but he's been playing a lot now that we're all home. He and Lucy have both been playing really hard. Don't you wish? Like I'm jealous of this. And then up here is the Lulu. Hi, Lulu. Hi, you. Sleeping up here in the tree. A little pile of paws. See, our backyard's a wreck. Our backyard is just a hot mess right now. Have I talked to my therapist? My therapist is not available right now, sadly. All right, so we're going to leave the bedroom and see the various doors closed because of teenagers. And then there's the Naked Wines box that Lucy's been playing in. And then here's my kitchen, right? And here is my indoor garden. So I have my tomatoes, which I haven't named yet. I would love suggestions on how to name my tomatoes. So this is like an at-home grow kit. The coolest thing is, I don't know how well you can see, but you can see the root system in the jar. Isn't that neat? Isn't that awesome? Like the root systems. So I've got these little tomato plants and I'm just waiting for the flowers to pop out so I can put the fertilizers in. This is like the little watering situation. You put the water in here and it waters throughout the week. So there's my tomatoes. And then there's my succulents. This one is not happy. This one is quite happy. And then there's my little hanging herbs situation I got off of Amazon for like 30 bucks. Like not with the herbs, it's just the hanging planters, but I love it. And these are herbs I got from Trader Joe's, I think, or maybe from the hardware store. And they have been super, look how healthy they are. This is oregano. And these tomatoes are specifically bred to be able to grow like this. This is like a kit. This is like an indoor kit with specific kinds of cherry tomatoes on it. I don't know exactly what the specifics are, but it's working, so yay. And then this is thyme. And then this is mint. And I've been trying to train the mint up so that it won't take over the other plants. Yeah, I probably do need vitamin D. We've been going for walks, but today it's rainy, so I'm not going out for a walk. But yeah, so there's my little indoor garden. But these were like 3 little like janky little plants, and now they're all growing really nicely in the house. So I love these planters. These planters are nifty. So anyway, my backyard is like a total wreck. So anyway, and then like my desk area, also a total wreck. See, this is the cherry blossom painting that I'm doing bit by bit, but it's not done yet. You can see the pieces that are getting worked on. Anyway, yeah, I'm not good at growing. This is the first time I've ever grown plants and they haven't died. I think it's because they are, right over my sink, so I have to look at them every day. That's the only reason they're not dead yet. Kitty man. You awake, kitty man? Loki? Anyway, that easel's awesome. I got it from Michael's, Jess. And it has varying heights, which is what I wanted. I wanted one that would work for watercolor, but also for color pencils. Here, let's go see what RJ's doing.
I'm sitting.
He's sitting. Didn't make his bed. Playing, watching YouTube. I'm live right now on YouTube myself, RJ.
Okay.
Okay.
I need to wash my clothes.
Okay, why don't you go start that? Look at that. He's doing his laundry of his own volition. Pew! Big man. Oh, whoa. Oh my God. I almost just went down. All right. Yeah. There's RJ. I can poke my head in on Cat too. Can I poke in on? Oh, never mind. Cat's getting dressed. I was just going to poke in. We're doing a YouTube live right now. Cat, can you say hi?
Mom, that's child pornography.
What? I'm doing a YouTube live. Can you just say what's up? Yeah, Cat's like, fuck you, Mom. Okay. We'll go back to the cat that likes being on video. Hi, Loki. Yeah, I know. I'm so glad I didn't leave with the camera, too. Like, I opened the door and it's like, oh, brah. Like, anyway. Oh, we'll go say hi to Jesse and then we'll be done. And then we're going to end this so I can, like, go eat the rest of my mashed potatoes. Want to say hi? I haven't put it on you yet. No, wait, hold on. Now you're saying hi.
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 Excuse me.
My family is not amused by my shenanigans. Yeah, seeing my family always makes me smile. Holy shit, you guys notice like the change in my attitude now that I've just gotten and seen them? It's the thing. And this is an area I can acknowledge how lucky I am and what privilege I do have in that I am locked in a house with 3 people that I think are fucking rad most of the time. And 2 cats. Well, 3 cats because my oldest is cat, but 2 felines. That I also, like, that's the thing. Like, I would not, I can't think of anybody else I'd rather be stuck in a house with, but at the same time, as much as I love them, it gets to be a little much, you know? Anyway, oh, now I love how he likes to hang off of things when he's sleeping. Anyway, you guys, I'm going to take off now because this is devolving into the weirdness. I think you guys are great. I love you all. Stay safe. Join the Discord. I will put it, you can find it in the live stream comments from the last live stream, the Pikachu one, but I will try and put it in here eventually. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you on Tuesday. Hasta la vista, babies.